What is going on, everyone? A huge thank you for clicking on today's video. I greatly appreciate that as always. Now today I am back with another Pokemon ROM hack in physical form, and this time I'm taking a look at none other than the Kanto Expansion Pak for the Game Boy. Now, what on earth is the Kanto Expansion Pak? Well, simply put, it is a ROM hack of Red and Blue that aims to expand the Kanto and enhance the experience by adding all sorts of future Kanto-based ideas to the game. Things like new evolutions, beta Pokemon, new and unused items, areas, and so much more. But before we get into all of that, I of course want to shout out the creators of this awesome ROM hack. There were quite a few names attached to it, but the two that popped up the most for me were Plague Von Karma and Martha's Against Humanity. So huge shout out to them and everybody else involved in the project. Seriously, there were quite a few names in there, but we literally could not be playing this game if it weren't for you, so please keep up the good work. Now let's go ahead and take a look at this awesome case here. We of course got the Kanto Expansion Pak, or KEEP. We got a little bit of KEEP. I guess that's an acronym of some sort. Obviously Kanto Expansion Pak, but I'm loving the way this looks. You got this kind of, I would say, classic look of Pokemon, with like the black circle and the bent letters across there. It screams Pokemon to me. And it looks like we've got, is that Screamtail? Screamtail, I literally just said Scream, and that kind of jogged my memory. I'm not 100% sure if it's Screamtail or Wildtail. Either way, I've never used one before, despite having played those games like 6 times. I'm loving the look of this, though. It looks really good. A little curious, everyone's thought process and reasoning behind choosing the mascot. Either way, I like it. It looks good, and of course this is a Paradox Pokemon, so it's sort of a taste of what's to come. Let's go ahead and move on to the back of the case here. And yeah, right away I can kind of tell, maybe not the best trim job. It doesn't go as far over as I'd like. I don't know, maybe that's just me. Just looks like it's a little empty, maybe? I don't know, it could go over a little farther. Maybe not the straightest trim job there. Either way, though, I like the design of this. I like the way that this looks here. This, of course, does tell us a little bit about the game here. Feel free to take a full read if you want to, but looks like we've got 251 Pokemon, so that's like puts us at Johto numbers. That's cool. Red and green, so boy and girl. Tons of other new stuff that we will, of course, jump into a little bit later. Looks like we got Melmello there. That's actually kind of cool, because you really only get to use that guy in Go, I think, or maybe the Let's Go games. And I do try to always mention, despite all of this Nintendo branding right here for the logo and whatnot, it's not an official game in any way. That's just a ROM hack, a fan-made passion project. It's only slapped on here for the sake of the look, for collector's purposes, so not an official game. Let's go ahead and pop this sucker open and take a look at the actual cartridge itself here. Set that right there. We got the nice looking black cartridge here. Very, very sleek. I can't really picture it any other color, if I'm being honest. Okay, well, pink. I guess pink would kind of make sense. It does have Jigglypuff on there. Or, sorry, Screamtail. It's got Screamtail, so I can maybe see pink, but either way, the black is looking very, very sleek here. I'm absolutely loving the black. It's hard to go wrong with a black cartridge. Let's go ahead and bring in red, the original red, which is what this is based off of. I know you can't obviously feel what I feel here, but there is kind of always a slight difference. I mean, they don't feel that different, but you can kind of tell it's a different quality there. But since everything physically seems to check out, except maybe a slight trim job on the back there, we're going to go ahead and pop this into the Game Boy and see if it works. And here we are with the Kanto Expansion Pak, or KEEP, as I might call it. And it might be the definitive way to play Gen 1 Kanto. It was so good, but I'm sure everyone is dying to know the most important thing about this cartridge. Does it save? Thankfully, yes, this cartridge does hold a save, and subsequently I was able to beat the game and I crushed through this awesome ROM hack. Now, like in any of my videos when the game does work the way it's supposed to, I do like to go ahead and highlight some of the cool new features and ideas implemented into the hack itself. This isn't supposed to be a full-on review of the actual hack, but I do like to try and get people excited enough to check these games out. First up, let's talk about the sprites, easily my favorite part of any ROM hack, and this one did not disappoint. We had 251 Pokemon, I think, which puts us right at Gen 2 in terms of numbers, but those extra 100 were quite different from anything in Johto. There were so many new and old Pokemon, beta unused Pokemon, and each one looked fantastic and really made me wonder why some of these things got cut. You had a lot of cut baby Pokemon show up, and I can kind of see why some of those didn't make it in the final. And since this is supposed to be a souped up Kanto, you can kind of expect to see pretty much anything attached to Kanto pop up. different regional forms, paradox forms, and honestly a lot of Pokemon I had never seen before. I thought I had seen it all in terms of like beta Pokemon, but I was proven wrong at multiple points. The amount of Pokemon and the variety of them makes me so excited to play it again with an entirely new and unique team. It's got great replayability. You might be wondering, how do you get all of these? Well, obviously from route to route you're going to find some new ones, but for like the trade ones and whatnot, seemingly every Pokemon Center you come across, there's going to be an NPC who's willing to trade you, you know, like a Raticate for an Alolan Raticate, things like that. And seriously, like almost every Pokemon Center's got somebody like that who's willing to trade a Mon for another Mon. And also check out all the random buildings too, because there's probably going to be people in them as well. And I'm pretty sure, definitely sure, the SS Anne actually had quite a few on there as well, and the boat thankfully does come back so you don't actually miss out on those. And for anything else, they either evolve through some sort of stone or item method, and if not that, there is a trading NPC to get those other evolutions as well. Aside from the new Pokemon, we do have a couple new areas to explore as well as a few minor changes to the overall map. The first one, and one of my favorites, was the pre-gym in Viridian City. So since Giovanni is gone, they're trying to find somebody to replace him, and it acts as sort of like a training gym, I guess, just sort of a pre-gym. You don't get a gym badge or anything, but I don't know, I kind of liked it. We also have areas like Celadon University, Bill's Lighthouse, and they even added the Cinnabar Island volcano to explore, which is Moltres' new spot, and I thought that was kind of a nice touch. And Mount Moon also has a new post-game spot, which acts as this game's Area Zero, if you will. It's where all the old Paradox Pokemon are hiding out. Tons of new places to check out, but despite all of this new stuff, I never felt like the game was overcrowded. Some of it was stuff I even initially missed because it just blended right in, and they were able to compensate for these new areas in a nice way. They sort of shaved down on a few parts, like the Silph and Pokemon Tower both come to mind. They were both a little bit shorter, you know, they had floor changes, like Pokemon Tower's got like, what, 7 or 8 floors? Well, now it was only like 3 or 4, and then the Silph had was like, what, 10 or 11 floors, and now it was like 4 or 5 floors, so they kind of shaved down on those long and tedious parts that everybody kind of hated to go through, so you never really felt like you were actually missing out on any XP, which is nice as well. They of course have some nice quality of life changes you'd expect, like running shoes from the start, and of course being able to get all of them on through one method or another. General add-ins like the new types, Steel, Dark, and Fairy, new moves and items, and even though all of this new stuff is added in, it still manages to capture that Gen 1 experience. They purposely didn't fix certain features in an effort to maintain that feel, things like Wrap and Bind, for example, still being very annoying moves, and I'm pretty sure Bite was also still a normal type move, despite Dark being added in. Little things like that, which I personally appreciated. Overall, I had a blast playing through the Kanto Expansion Pack, and in my opinion, they perfectly captured their own name. An expansion pack. A slight upgrade to an already awesome game, enhancing the game's experience while still being the same game at its core. It adds a ton of new content, which makes this game so much more fun to want to replay. It's got great sprite work, and it's also got elements from Yellow implemented in, like Jesse and James, and it's even got its own post-game for after you beat the Elite Four. And this is of course just my opinion, and I definitely want you to form your own, but it might be the best Gen 1 style hack I've ever played. Either way, it is definitely a great ROM hack that any Pokemon fan should check out. Alright, that is going to bring us to the end of the video here. I hope you all enjoy this. I had an absolute blast playing this game. It was fun in every way, shape, and form. All of the things it added, it was perfect. I know that I already said this, but it is genuinely probably my favorite Gen 1 Kanto experience out there. I hope you all enjoyed the video, and I hope you all got something out of this. At the very least, I hope you all check out the Kanto Expansion Pack as a ROM, on an emulator first. Show some love and support to the creators. You won't be disappointed. So if you all did happen to enjoy, feel free to leave a like. That would definitely help out the channel and the video. And if there's any questions or comments, leave those down below, and I'll do my best to get back to those. And of course, if there's anything you want to see from me in the future, leave those down below as well, and I'll try my best to get to those eventually. And until next time, I'll see you all later.